What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be installing some lowering springs on the RS. I went with a brand called Whiteline. So what this is supposed to do, it's supposed to lower the front 3/4 of an inch and then the back about an inch, inch and a quarter, which is going to be perfect for me. I was never a huge fan of the rake these cars have. So what rake is when the front sits lower than the back. So it's going to take that away. I was looking at other brands as well, like H&R and stuff, but the problem with that is either it's too much or not enough. So I think this is gonna be a pretty happy medium. So another big problem with these cars is that when you hit a bump, it's super bouncy and it's not stiff enough, I believe, but apparently these springs are supposed to fix it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these on. I'm gonna start with the rear because the rear is a little easier than the front, so we can save the hard thing for last. But without further ado, let's get to the install. I got the whole car jacked up, have it on jack stands right now. So right back here, that's where the spring is. So what I want to do is put a jack underneath this right here to get some tension off that bolt, and then I'm going to come from the other side, take that bolt out. You might have to mess with the jack a little bit up and down so you can kind of get it perfect so where this bolt just comes right out. But I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then the spring should pop right out. Here's the old spring right here. I want to make sure you keep this top hat. We're going to be reusing that. Go ahead and get your new one. Make sure you have the writing on there facing up, and then you can put the top hat back on here and then put it back in the car. One more thing too. So as you can see on this top hat, it is grooved, and then the spring fits in right here. See how it's indented? It fits right in here and pops back on. So another helpful little tip is sometimes when you can't get this lined up, you can get a screwdriver in there, kind of pry it around. As you can see, it just popped. So I might actually be at right there. All right, so we have that side all finished up. Now on to the next. All right, so everything's finished up. I put the wheels back on. I'll put the lug nuts back on. When I had the wheels off, I made sure to clean the brakes and the inside of the wheel too, and it looks a ton better. But let's go ahead and lower it down. Okay, keep in mind, this still needs to settle, but it'll give you guys a rough idea. That looks a ton better. That looks really good. So when it settles, it should go down probably, I would say, another 1/4 inch or so, but already it looks a lot better than it did before. So let's go to the front. I have the car jacked up, have the wheels and tires off. I cleaned them. I cleaned the brakes too. So I'm gonna go ahead and start removing this cowl right up here. So that'll give us access to the top bolts for the coil. All right, so under the hood, I went ahead and removed this flashing, the underside of that cowl, and now I can lift it up, and you can see there's 3 bolts right there, there, and there, and those hold on up there, very top. There's 3 bolts to hold this on. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking off everything that I don't need that's connected to this, so I can go ahead and get this out of here. So I'm gonna take off the sway bar link, the lines of the brakes, and then this speed sensor, and then once I do that, I'll show you guys how to actually get it out. Alrighty guys, so on both sides, everything is disconnected. On the sway bar link right here, this is kind of a pain to get off. I don't have the right tool for it, so I just had to do it by hand. I put a socket on there and put an Allen key to hold it in place. But if you're gonna do it, I definitely recommend you have the actual tool to get it off. It'll be a lot easier. But last but not least, there's one bolt all the way back here that holds this on. I'm gonna go ahead and take that off, and then you have to spread this little thing apart. I'll show you guys once it's out, you can see it a little better, but there's just 2 pieces of metal that kind of come together. You have to spread them apart. So you can either rent a tool to get that, or you can do something like this and kind of make one yourself. So that's what I did. So I'm gonna use that to spread that apart. And then once you get it spread apart, you should be able to just hammer this down a little bit, give it some love taps, and it should slide right out. All right, so before I put the spreader tool in here, I went ahead and put a jack right underneath this rotor, just so when it falls, it doesn't rip that CV axle out of the transfer case. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. Okay, so that's about half out right there. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen these bolts up right underneath here. I'm gonna loosen those up just so it gives a little more wiggle room so this thing can go back and forth a wee bit, because I think it's getting stuck right here from friction. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. One more thing, guys. So down here, there's a wire that goes into each one of these. And this is for the active suspension right here. So it's gonna look like something like this. This is a little housing for it. There's two little clips you have to get with a screwdriver. They clip into place just like that. And there's one on the side. Oh, well, I'm not gonna find that. Anyways, there's one clip on the side. Right there. Get a screwdriver underneath that, it'll pop off, just like that. You can open this up, and then on here, there's one little piece of plastic that holds it on. Just gotta stick a screwdriver underneath that, lift it up, and then this wire right here will pop right out. And same for the other side. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take out the 3 bolts, and then the whole thing should slide right out. So we have that one taken out. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same for this side. Okay, so we have them out of the car now. I went ahead and broke this bolt loose. So now it's time for the sketchy part, and we're gonna actually compress these springs so we can get that top head off. Okay, so we have everything wrapped up in the front. I got the driver and passenger side done. I'm gonna go ahead and let the car down and see what it looks like. Yeah, that's low. Look at that. All right, guys, so everything's installed. I'm going for a test drive. There's a few things that I did notice so far. When you're shifting and you're really getting on it, and you're going from first, second, third, fourth, before, the car would almost like just kind of buck a bit when you shift the gears. Now it seems pretty much gone, 100% gone. You can shift really hard and everything kind of stays in place. I'm still in the stock motor mount and everything, so it's 100% from the springs, which is really awesome. It handles super good around corners. It's a little stiff, but I mean, what we were expecting, I was putting lowering springs on a car. But one other thing too, I am running spacers 25 millimeter, and it may rub just a little bit. If anything, I might just have to get smaller spacers. But other than that, I'm loving how the car looks, how it drives, how it feels. Highly recommend. So I'll give you guys a little walk around, I'll give you a before and after, and I will see you at the house. Alrighty guys, so the install itself isn't too bad. The back of the car probably took me maybe 20-30 minutes. That's including like jacking it up, taking the wheels off and all kind of stuff. The front, on the other hand, that took a really long time. I've done like probably 5 sets of coils on cars before, and this is nothing new, nothing different, but it just the fact of taking it out and changing the coils and everything, that just takes a really long time. But it's not hard, just super time consuming, so make sure you do it on a Saturday or something like that so you have enough time to do it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to pick up the coils yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.